There was a version of you that said yes to everything. That twisted yourself into shapes that fit other people's expectations. That apologized for taking up space. That made yourself smaller so others could feel bigger. That exhausted yourself trying to be enough for everyone except yourself. And then one day, something shifted. You woke up and realized that all the people-pleasing, all the performing, all the bending, it wasn't bringing you peace. It was stealing it. So you made a decision. A quiet revolution. You decided to stop trying to please everyone. At first, it felt terrifying. Your whole identity was built on being helpful, accommodating, easygoing. Who were you if you weren't the person everyone could count on? What if people stopped loving you when you stopped performing for them? You started small. You said no to something you didn't want to do. Just once. And you waited for the catastrophe. The anger. The rejection. The fallout. But something unexpected happened. The world didn't end. Some people were confused. Some were disappointed. But you survived their disappointment. And that taught you something powerful. Other people's comfort is not your responsibility. You began noticing patterns you'd ignored for years. How you changed your opinions depending on who you were with. How you laughed at jokes that weren't funny. How you agreed to plans you secretly dreaded. How you carried emotional labor that was never yours to carry. You realized you'd been living as a supporting character in your own life. Always adjusting. Always accommodating. Always making sure everyone else was okay, while your own needs stayed unmet and unspoken. So you started practicing something radical. Honesty. Not cruelty, not selfishness. Just simple, gentle honesty about what you actually wanted and needed. I can't make it tonight. That doesn't work for me. I need some time to think about it. I don't have the capacity right now. The words felt wrong at first. Heavy with guilt. Because you were taught that your needs mattered less than everyone else's peace. But you kept practicing. And slowly, guilt turned into relief. You discovered that people who truly loved you didn't love you less when you set boundaries. They respected you more. The relationships that suffered weren't the real ones. They were transactions disguised as connections. Places where you gave, and they took and took. You learned the difference between kindness and people-pleasing. Kindness comes from overflow. People-pleasing comes from fear. Kindness is a choice. People-pleasing is a compulsion. Your energy shifted. You had more of it. Because you stopped spending it managing other people's emotions. No became a complete sentence. You stopped over-explaining. You stopped justifying your boundaries with long reasons. You didn't need permission to honor yourself. You let go of relationships that only worked when you were self-sacrificing. And yes, it hurt. But in that space, something better grew. Authentic connections. People who didn't need you to be endless to be worthy. When you stopped people-pleasing, you stopped sending signals that you were available for exploitation. You started radiating self-respect. Boundaries. Wholeness. You realized that disappointing others is sometimes necessary to stop betraying yourself. That isn't selfish. That's integrity. The people who called you selfish weren't hurt. They were losing access. The ones who said you changed were right. You had. You stopped abandoning yourself. Here's the truth no one tells you. Stopping people-pleasing feels lonely at first. Then it feels liberating. Then it becomes the foundation of your peace. The loneliness of being real is nothing compared to the exhaustion of pretending. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to be true to yourself. You're not here to shrink so others can shine. When you stop trying to please others, you don't become cold. You become real. You become free. And that freedom is worth more than all the approval in the world. Stop pleasing. Start living. The right people will love you for it.